Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome into the UFC Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media. I'm Russ Renault. Thanks again for joining us here. We had to come in on Sunday night. I'm sorry we couldn't bring you live main event coverage last night. We really wanted to do those two title fights, but just couldn't work it out to where we could get in here and get that done last night. Did watch the fights, but just off location, so apologize for that. Hopefully next time we can do that for UFC 305. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. We'll talk about last night, then we'll go through the schedule, and that will cover us, going through to the month of October. So getting right down to it. So it's a pretty good, main card at the top, very good at the top. In the middle was lackluster. This coming straight from Dana White, and we'll talk about just how he felt about that card as we read a little bit about it today, and saw that press conference that he had last night. Some of the things that came out of that kind of surprising that we'll get to when we get to the results. So let's just start off with the main event. Welterweight title on the line between the champion Leon Edwards and the number one contender Belal Muhammad. And what a shocker. Well, it didn't turn out that way. I wasn't really shocked, but it wasn't upset with Belal Muhammad, now the new welterweight champion. A unanimous decision, a dominant performance from Belal. Did the job. Only lost one round, I believe, and really took care of business. And we have a new welterweight champion. I like to see titles change hands. I'd like to say that streak was broken. I don't know if it was, where everybody that I'm cheering for, they always lose, and they have for a long time in these main events. But, I just like to see titles change hands. It's not that I'm a big Belal fan, so that's why I'm kind of on the fence whether that streak was broken, because I really didn't care either way. I just like to see good fights, and I like to see titles change hands when it's not one of the people that I really like. So I kind of went with Leon on those picks last week just because I thought I kind of wanted to see the title change hands, and so I thought Leon would hold on, but I guess I have a new thing to go by. So anyway, we'll see what happens going forward. I don't know if, that's not worth running back to me. It's not a great fight to rebook right away. I don't think Belal wants that at all, the way Leon's treated him the last couple of years. So I don't know, maybe Kamaru wants that, one last run at the title and gets title shot, and we'll see. I don't know. I mean, there's also, you've got Shavkat Rakhmonov sitting out there. That's probably your biggest name out there right now. So that's maybe a little soon for that. I don't know. Belal probably wants to try to get one title defense under his belt before he has to go face that monster, but who knows? We'll see what happens down the road, but, Shavkat probably won in everybody's mind, and then Kamaru would just be an interesting way to see him end his career, see if he can get the title back. So, co-main event was the one I was interested in. Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion. I'm just going to call him the heavyweight champion right now because who knows what's going on with John Jones. First round, first minute knockout of fourth-ranked Curtis Blades. And Tom just stood in there, caught Curtis with a left, and then clipped him with a right on the way down, and then just finished him off. Curtis covering up, and fight was stopped. So I would have liked to have seen it gone maybe just a little bit longer, but, Curtis already given up the back and was covering up, so who knows. Obviously, I want Tom Aspinall to win that fight, but, it just dominant performance again. 7 out of 8 first-round finishes. All 8 wins he's had have been by finish, and 7 of them have been the first round. Just ridiculous. And so I think, it's obvious that the next thing that has to happen is if this John Jones, Stipe Miocic title fight actually does happen in November in Madison Square Garden, that this has got to be the next thing. It's got to be Aspinall and John Jones to unify the titles, but I'm going to go out on a limb. Just my bold prediction here is that the next fight that Tom Aspinall has is going to be against Alex Pineda. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but I think that's his next fight, because I think John and Stipe, they do this, and then it kind of just blows in the wind for a little while. So I think that's what's going to happen with the heavyweight title here in the near future. So I apologize that I need to change the battery out on the main camera. So if you can just bear with me, I'll kind of talk, through the rest of the main card while we get that taken care of. Try not to make too much noise. I think we can make it through the rest of the way. I just don't want to risk it. But anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the heavyweight division going down the line. But I mean, those are names right now, because do you want to see Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane? I don't. I know what's going to happen in that fight. So I would like to see. I would just like to see the Aspinall, John Jones, Miocic winner, which, I mean, I think it'd be John Jones at this point. As much as I love Stipe, I just think that, John's still got too much left in the tank for that to happen. And again, I apologize for the technical issue there, but should be back up here in just a second. There we go. Sorry about that. But anyway, so that's the state of the heavyweight division right now. It's just Aspinall, Miocic, Jones, and Pineda. That's all you can talk about at the top right now. So really exciting here in this third fight. Paddy Pimblett defeating Bobby Green with a first round submission. So Bobby Green was ranked 15th, King Green, as he's now known. So Paddy may be ranked when those rankings come out on Tuesday. So it gets that triangle choke, just put Bobby Green to sleep. And what a phenomenal performance for Paddy. Just, shutting up all the doubters. Everybody who thought that he wasn't that good and just was going on hype. This was a great performance for him. People said he could never beat a ranked opponent if he ever got there, and he shut all of that up with the first round submission last night. Beautiful work by Paddy, and so I just hope that he's taken everything a lot more seriously and has matured a lot more, and great things to come for him in the lightweight division. So we'll see how high he can go. And I just think that was just really good for him that he can put together a top 15 performance like that. So happy to see Paddy Pimblett, really show what, people thought he could do before he kind of had some weaker performances. But he's come back here with a big one, and that'll be huge for him going forward. So to finish out the main card, we got a couple of more. We got two more fights. Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop, defeating Christian Leroy Duncan, unanimous decision in the middleweight division. Just, it was a good performance. It's a good fight, but he got the job done. And so that finished a string of 7 straight, decisions going to the scorecards. Dana White did not like that at all. And we'll talk about that in a second. Then to start off the card, number 6, Arnold Allen, defeating number 9, Giga Chikadze in the featherweight division. Nice bounce back for Arnold Allen. Giga, he's hung in there and did, gave it a good run, but Arnold Allen was just too tough for him. So that's your main card. It was pretty solid. It was a pretty good night there in Manchester. Just talking about the prelims, Nathaniel Wood defeating Danielle Pineda. Unanimous decision. Bruno Brazil defeating Molly McCann. Women's strawweight division, unanimous decision. Just the big one I want to point out, because we don't have to go through everything. If you all watched it and what happened, you can read it, the results as well as I can read them to you. But I do want to talk about the flyweight title eliminator, but it seems to be a career eliminator for both fighters. So number 6 ranked Muhammad Mokaev defeated Manel Kape, number 7, by unanimous decision. But this was the worst fight of the night. And, Mokaev was kind of dirty, kind of pulling Kape's shorts down and just ridiculous. And so it was just a terrible fight. And neither, Mokaev kept shooting takedowns, didn't really do anything with them, kind of held on there to get a decision. And so he was released today. And that's kind of what we wouldn't have seen if we had gotten in here last night right after the fights. We wouldn't have known about some of this stuff. So that's why there's a good and a bad to everything. But so we didn't know that the Mokaev thing would have happened if we had come on live last night. So he's gone after a win, and his contract was up, and Dana said, good riddance. PFL can get, an undefeated fighter, a young undefeated fighter. So Mokaev done in the UFC, and who knows if Manel Kape is as well. He may be next. So what should have been a title eliminator ended up showing Mokaev the door. So he was one of the hotter rookies in that 2023 product. And, we had pulled an autograph redemption and sold that for a pretty good amount, but that thing would be not worth very much today. So, so unfortunate for him, but, I'm sure the UFC has their reasons, and they'll probably come out at some point. Just some of the stuff going on at the Performance Institute, just starting fights, and there's probably a ton of other things behind the scenes that the UFC was just sick of. Mokaev unhappy with his contract, his pay, all that stuff. It just adds up, and so you get shown the door. So there you go. One of the top contenders in the flyweight division is gone at this point. So let's turn our attention to the rest of the schedule. So we will go through and talk about the rest of the fights coming up. So let's go to Fight Night from Abu Dhabi on August 3rd. So that is next Saturday. Corey Sandhagen against Umar Nurmagomedov in the bantamweight division is your headliner, number 2 against number 10. This is a fight that was added this week as the Vicente Luque Nick Diaz fight is off due to Nick Diaz's travel issues. So we get a new co-main event. Sharo Magomedov against Michal Oleksiejczuk in the middleweight division. And Magomedov making this card because Dana White said that he would have issues ever getting cleared to have a fight in the U.S. with that eye condition that he has. So he gets on the card here with the card being overseas. Then, of course, you've got number 4 against number 6 in the bantamweight division with Chito Vera against Davison Figueiredo. Tony Ferguson, Michael Chiesa in the welterweight division. Nice women's strawweight matchup between number 7 Mackenzie Dern and number 10 Lupe Godinez. Joel Alvarez, Elvis Brenner. And I really like that, the feature prelim, the light heavyweight division. Number 15, Alonzo Minifield against number 14, Azamat Murzakanov. So there you can see the rest of the card for next weekend. Pretty stacked card as far as the fight night goes. You got a lot of ranked fighters there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So pretty decent for a fight night. So then we go to August 10th from the Apex heavyweight matchup between number 8 Marcin Tybura, number 9 Sergey Spivak. That is a rematch. Some more added this week: Chris Gutierrez, Javid Bashrat in the bantamweight division, Damon Jackson, Jeffrey Mariscal for the featherweight matchup. Women's bantamweight matchup here: number 12 Yana Santos against number 14 Chelsea Chandler. Euros Medic against Danny Barlow with a welterweight matchup, and a flyweight matchup between Alan Nascimento and Jafel Filo. You've got a nice women's Bantamweight ranked matchup down there on the prelims. Number 8, Carol Hossa. Number 11, Penny Kianzad. And there you see the rest of the card. So then we go to August 17th, UFC 305 from Perth in Australia. And hopefully we can do another main event live coverage. Would really like to do that weekend. So next month's pay-per-view, the middleweight championship on the line between the champion Dricus du Plessis, his first title defense against the former champion, the number 2 contender Israel Adesanya. Then we got a flyweight matchup in the co-main, top 10, number 4 Kai Kara France against number 9 Steve Verseg, who just fought for the title against Alessandro Pantoja. Gave a great showing, but did not win that fight, obviously. Still think number 9 is kind of low considering that performance, but he'll get his chance right here to move into the top 5. Heavyweight matchup between number 10 Tai Tuivasa, number 12 Jairzinho Rosenstrike. And there you see Junior Tafa, Walter Walker. Heavyweight matchup, Song Kanan against Ricky Glenn. That one was added this week. A welterweight matchup, and Li Jiang Lang against Carlos Prates. Another welterweight matchup. And 14th ranked Casey O'Neill against Teresa Blado in a women's flyweight matchup. So I move forward to September 7th from the Apex. Number 6 Gilbert Burns against number 8 Sean Brady. The welterweight division. Number 9 Calvin Kattar against Kyle Nelson. A featherweight matchup. The only other ones on this card right now, Yi Zha against Gabriel Santos. The featherweight division, and Rong Zhu against Chris Padilla in the lightweight division. Then we get to the big card that was announced this week prior to this pay-per-view. We got Noche UFC September 14th from the Sphere in Las Vegas. And just as we expected, we got a bantamweight matchup between the champion Sean O'Malley and the number 1 contender Merab Dvalishvili. The women's strawweight championship on the line. Got the tag on this one wrong. So the women's strawweight champion Alexa Grasso defending against the former champion, the number 1 contender Valentina Shevchenko, for the 3rd time to finish off this trilogy. Featherweight matchup between number 3 Brian Ortega and number 12 Diego Lopez. So we had all 3 of those fights right last week when we were kind of predicting what this card was going to look like. We had all 3 of those fights on there. So Raul Rosas Jr. against Aori Kalang in the bantamweight division. And then we've got a women's bantamweight matchup between number 4 Irene Aldana, who we have not seen since she lost to Amanda Nunes, I believe. Not a good showing there, but she's back against number 10 Norma Dumont. And there you see the rest of the card. Manuel Torres against Ignacio Bahamondes in the lightweight division. Edgar Chairez against Kevin Borjas in the flyweight division. Yasmin Haragui against Ketlin Souza in the women's strawweight division. And Daniel Zellhuber against Esteban Rabovich in the lightweight division. So a stacked Noche UFC, which serves as UFC 306. And that's going to be awesome to see from the Sphere. Really looking forward to seeing that event on TV and just seeing how that looks. I mean, it would be amazing to be there in person. So, phenomenal venue and just going to be a night like no other. That's going to be amazing with those top 3 fights. And even, Rosas Jr., of course, he's exciting. One of the most exciting young prospects. So, really awesome main card for this event. So then we go to Fight Night, September 28th in Paris. Don't know anything about this card yet. Then we know that UFC 307 is October 5th in Salt Lake City. And UFC 308 is October 26th in Abu Dhabi. Just don't have any fights there yet. And we'll start speculating as we get closer to those, but just kind of too far out right now. Usually this October date is reserved for Islam Makhachev, so we'll see what's down the line for him. So I know that he was seeking a welterweight title matchup, but that's kind of gone out the window now with with Bilal taking that title, that's just probably not something you want to see as somebody's first title defense, is to be, defending against somebody the division below you. So who knows? I don't think that's going to happen. I really do think it's going to be Shavkat, and then maybe Kamaru. Who knows? Kamaru may be done. I mean, haven't seen him in a while, and just we know those knees are not great, so I don't know. So I'm kind of leaving Shavkat because, that's really what everybody wants to see. All right, so we have finished off the schedule for the rest of the fall anyway, and as we add matches, we'll certainly share those with you, and we'll be right back here next Saturday for an instant reaction from Abu Dhabi with Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov scoring off next weekend. So it should be another exciting weekend of fights. We really appreciate everybody stopping by here. You never know when exactly we're going to be on. We try to come on every Saturday right after the fights. Like I said, we couldn't pull that off this weekend. But if you subscribe, then you'll always know when we're live. You'll get that alert, and it'll pop up. And like I said, usually we're right after the fights, but kind of when we began, we were doing every Sunday night, and I just thought that going right after the fights was always a little bit better because you're kind of a little jacked up, and staying with it a little bit longer, have that coverage right after. But it kind of worked out in our favor with the Makayev thing going down today. So good things come out of it. But again, appreciate everybody stopping by, and we hope that you come by next weekend, subscribe, check out our store on eBay, Orange Fire Lots of Lots, if you want to pick up a few UFC cards. We've got a few left. You've seen the Israel Adesanya. We've got the Redemption here that we're still waiting on, and then a couple of other numbered cards to go with those. So things like that show up. We haven't put that up yet because we don't have the Redemption back, but there's other lots on there that you can take a look at. If you want to start building a little bit of a UFC collection, our stuff is very competitively priced, and we just want to get stuff in your hands that you want. So thanks a lot, and we will see you next weekend from Abu Dhabi. I'm Russ Renault, and you've been watching the UFC Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media right here on YouTube. See you next weekend, everybody.